Influential figures across Canada are increasingly gripped by a palpable sense of apprehension. Whispers of an impending economic catastrophe have swelled into an overwhelming chorus of concern. Recent volatility and intense fluctuations in the Canadian economy owing to different variables send ripples of anxiety to global investors and policymakers alike. While currency fluctuation is typically viewed as a sign of healthy market dynamics, the abrupt and pronounced surge in this instance has cast a shadow of uncertainty, leaving many on edge. The looming crisis looms large on the horizon, transcending the realm of mere weather patterns to pose a substantial threat to the Canadian economy. This unforeseen and formidable event is known as the Black Swan, capable of inflicting significant damage with its unexpected arrival. In Canada, Quebec's ice storm in 1998 comes in as one of the country's Black Swan events. As a result of heavy ice accumulation over a short period of time, more than 2 million people woke up without power. Some people went close to a month before their power was restored. According to a recent survey conducted by the Bank of Canada, nearly 60% of Canadian businesses believe that the country is at risk of experiencing a major economic disruption in the next 5 years. The survey polled over 1,000 businesses across a range of sectors and found that concerns about Black Swan events were particularly high among small and medium-sized enterprises, which often have fewer resources and less flexibility to withstand sudden shocks. As Canadians go about their daily lives blissfully unaware of the potential danger lurking on the horizon, economists and analysts are beginning to sound the alarm. They warn of a perfect storm brewing, a convergence of factors that could unleash chaos upon the Canadian economy and send shockwaves rippling through every aspect of society. In this video, we will dive deep into the factors contributing to the looming Black Swan event in Canada and explore its potential implications for the economy, businesses, and everyday Canadians. We'll examine the root causes behind the heightened risk of economic disruption, from structural vulnerabilities in key industries to systemic weaknesses in financial markets. The term Black Swan was first coined by the philosopher and essayist Nassim Nicholas Taleb in his 2007 book, The Black Swan: The Impact of the Highly Improbable. Taleb used the metaphor to describe infrequent, unexpected events that have a massive impact on society and are often rationalized in hindsight. The concept of a Black Swan event is rooted in the ancient belief that all swans were white. This belief was so entrenched that the phrase Black Swan was used to describe something that was impossible or did not exist. However, in 1697, Dutch explorers discovered black swans in Australia, shattering the long-held assumption and proving that the impossible was in fact possible. Taleb argued that Black Swan events are characterized by three key attributes: rarity, extreme impact, and retrospective predictability. They are outliers, lying outside the realm of regular expectations and carrying an extreme impact. Moreover, despite their outlier status, human nature makes us concoct explanations for their occurrence after the fact, making them appear more predictable than they were before. Throughout history, the world has witnessed numerous Black Swan events that have reshaped the course of nations and economies. From the fall of the Soviet Union and the 9/11 terrorist attacks to the 2008 global financial crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic, these unexpected high-impact events have demonstrated the fragility of even the most seemingly stable systems. Canada, like any other nation, is not immune to the threat of a Black Swan event. Despite its reputation for stability and resilience, the country faces a range of potential risks that could strike without warning and leave a trail of destruction in its wake. One of the most significant potential Black Swan events that could bring down the Canadian economy is a sudden and severe downturn in the global oil market. Canada is one of the world's largest producers and exporters of oil, with the energy sector accounting for a significant portion of the country's GDP and employment. In 2023, despite the quagmire vanquishing the Canadian economy, the total revenues generated from this industry are estimated to be $188 billion in 2024, up slightly from $183 billion in 2023. Nonetheless, the global oil market is notoriously volatile and subject to a wide range of geopolitical and economic forces beyond Canada's control. A sudden drop in oil prices, whether due to a global recession, a shift in energy policies, or a major geopolitical event, could have a devastating impact on the Canadian economy. This is not a hypothetical scenario. Canada has already experienced the painful consequences of an oil price crash in recent years. In 2014, 2014, the global oil price plummeted from over $100 per barrel to less than $40 per barrel in just 18 months, sending shockwaves through the Canadian economy. The energy sector was hit particularly hard, with companies slashing investments, laying off workers, and canceling projects. According to Statistics Canada, the oil and gas industry lost over 50,000 jobs between 2014 and 2016, representing a 25% decline in employment. The economic fallout was felt far beyond the energy sector, with rippling effects spreading throughout the entire economy. In Alberta, the epicenter of Canada's oil industry, the unemployment rate soared as 43,000 jobs were cut between December 2014 and May 2016. While the Canadian economy has since recovered from the 2014 oil price crash, the memory of that painful episode still lingers, and with the global energy landscape rapidly shifting towards renewable sources and the increasing urgency of the climate crisis, the long-term viability of Canada's oil industry remains uncertain. Another potential Black Swan event that could take down the Canadian economy is a major cyber attack targeting critical infrastructure and financial systems. In an increasingly digitized and interconnected world, the risk of a devastating cyber attack has become a growing concern for governments, businesses, and individuals alike. Like many other advanced economies, Canada relies heavily on digital infrastructure to power its economy and society. From the energy grid and transportation networks to financial institutions and healthcare systems, virtually every aspect of modern life is dependent on complex, interconnected digital systems. However, this reliance on technology has also created new vulnerabilities that can be exploited by malicious actors. Cybercriminals, nation-state hackers, and terrorist groups have become increasingly sophisticated in their ability to penetrate even the most secure systems and wreak havoc on a massive scale. In recent years, Canada has already experienced a number of high-profile cyber attacks that have exposed the country's vulnerabilities. In 2017, for example, a ransomware attack dubbed WannaCry infected over 200,000 computers in 150 countries, including Canada. The attack crippled hospitals, universities, and businesses, causing widespread disruption and financial losses. More recently, in 2021, a group of cybercriminals targeted the Colonial Pipeline, a central fuel pipeline system in the United States that supplies nearly half of the East Coast's fuel. The attack forced the pipeline to shut down for several days, causing gas shortages and panic buying across the region. While the Colonial Pipeline attack did not directly target Canada, it served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of a major cyber attack on critical infrastructure. If a similar attack were to target Canada's energy grid, transportation networks, or financial systems, the economic and social fallout could be catastrophic. According to a report by the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity, the number of cyber incidents targeting Canadian businesses and individuals has steadily increased in recent years. In 2020, 78% of Canadian companies experienced at least one cyber attack. However, this figure saw a notable increase the following year, with 85.7% of Canadian companies falling victim to cyber attacks. This 7.7 year-over-year increase highlights a concerning trend in the frequency and effectiveness of cyber attacks targeting Canadian organizations. The potential consequences of a major cyber attack on Canada's economy are difficult to overstate. A successful attack on the country's energy grid, for example, could cause widespread power outages, shutting down businesses, hospitals, and transportation networks. An attack on financial institutions could cause a run on banks, wiping out savings and investments and triggering a broader economic collapse. Moreover, the interconnectedness of modern digital systems means that a cyber attack in one sector could quickly cascade into others, creating a domino effect of failures and disruptions. This was demonstrated in the WannaCry attack, which began as a ransomware attack on individual computers, but quickly spread to critical infrastructure systems, causing widespread chaos. A third potential Black Swan event that could bring down the Canadian economy is a major natural disaster, such as a catastrophic earthquake or tsunami. While Canada is not typically associated with significant seismic activity, the country is not immune to the risk of a devastating natural disaster. One of Canada's most significant earthquake risks is the Cascadia subduction zone. This 1,000-kilometer fault line runs along the coast of British Columbia and northern California. Seismologists have warned that the Cascadia subduction zone can produce a magnitude 9.0 earthquake, which would be one of the largest in recorded history. According to a report by Natural Resources Canada, a major earthquake along the Cascadia subduction zone could cause widespread destruction in British Columbia, including the city of Vancouver. The report estimates that a magnitude 9.0 earthquake could cause over $75 billion in damage, displace over 200,000 people, and result in over 10,000 casualties. The potential economic consequences of a major earthquake in British Columbia are difficult to overstate. Vancouver is Canada's third-largest city and a central hub for international trade, with the Port of Vancouver handling over $200 billion in cargo annually. A major earthquake that damages the port and surrounding infrastructure could disrupt supply chains and cause widespread economic losses. Moreover, the damage to residential and commercial buildings and the disruption to transportation networks and other critical infrastructure could take years to recover from. The 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Japan, which caused over $300 billion in damage and resulted in nearly 20,000 deaths, serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of natural disasters. The risk of a significant natural disaster in Canada is not limited to earthquakes. The country is also vulnerable to other types of disasters, such as floods, wildfires, and extreme weather events. In recent years, Canada has experienced several devastating natural disasters that have caused billions of dollars in damage and disrupted communities across the country. In 2013, for example, severe flooding in Alberta caused over $5 billion in damage and forced the evacuation of over 100,000 people. The flooding was the costliest natural disaster in Canadian history, surpassing the previous record set by the 1998 ice storm in Quebec. More recently, in 2021, a heat dome over Western Canada caused record-breaking temperatures and contributed to the spread of wildfires across the region. The town of Lytton, British Columbia, set a new national temperature record of 49.6 degrees Celsius or 121.3 degrees Fahrenheit before being destroyed by a wildfire the next day. The heat wave and associated wildfires caused over $500 million in insured losses, resulting in hundreds of excess deaths. Alberta wildfire officials say they are preparing for the worst that can happen ahead of this year's wildfire season following last year's record-breaking result. In 2023, 1,092 wildfires burned an unprecedented 2.2 million hectares of land in Alberta. So far this year, 40 wildfires have sparked in Alberta, burning about 300 hectares. As of this time last year, 14 wildfires burned about 3 hectares of land. The potential economic consequences of a major natural disaster in Canada are difficult to predict, but they could be severe and long-lasting. In addition to the direct costs of damage and rebuilding, natural disasters can disrupt supply chains, reduce productivity, and dampen consumer spending. They can also strain government budgets and divert resources away from other priorities, such as healthcare and education. Moreover, the increasing frequency and severity of extreme weather events due to climate change suggests that the risk of a major natural disaster in Canada is only likely to grow in the coming years. While it is impossible to predict precisely when or where a Black Swan event will occur in Canada, the evidence suggests that the country is not immune to the risk of a major economic disruption, whether it is a sudden downturn in the global oil market, a devastating cyber attack, or a catastrophic natural disaster. The potential consequences of a Black Swan event are too significant to ignore. If you like this video, hit the like button and help us spread the word. And don't forget to subscribe to get notifications on our latest news and analysis. In the meantime, check out one of these videos here to learn more. Thanks for watching.